Hello, it's me once again here to do another tier list. Woo! I just realized you can't even see it. You're literally watching a black screen. What is wrong with you? There we go. Okay, let's make my thing smaller here. Great sentence out of context, by the way. I love making my thing smaller. And I'm going to rate the Mythic Plus Season 1 bosses for Dragonflight in World of Warcraft. I don't do Mythics anymore. I haven't been playing Dragonflight like at all in the past like month. But I did get to a 2500 rating in Dragonflight, so I did my time. I did my time with Mythic Plus on the Dragonflight Season 1 dungeons. So yeah, let's just go right in here. And this is all from a Warlock perspective. This is all just from my point of view. And yeah, basically just how well designed the boss is to me. Aesthetics play a small part in it, but not as much. Not as much, obviously. It's mostly just mechanics to how fun the boss is, let's be honest. So... Sorry, I just can't decide what I'm getting Ashenvale music in the background. It's so good, I want to, like, increase the volume. Anyways, let's begin here. Geez, the bosses are, like, completely out of order here. I'm gonna at least try to, like, do them, like, kind of in order. But then I have to, like, find all of them. I guess we'll start with Azurvault then, because why not? Because I was actually able to find these ones first. So, Azurvault, tree boss. Pretty good boss. I like this boss, honestly. Pretty simple. Just kind of, you know, having to, you know, find your own little spot to blow up the crystal trees, and they have to run in and have all the slimes, and they blow up the slimes, just rinse, repeat. It's simple, but for some reason, Pugs struggle with it a lot. Pugs struggle with Azurvault in general, though. So, but out of the Azurvault bosses, I think this one's the first one's most enjoyable, honestly. This boss, however, now here's the thing. It's mostly just with Pugs. I don't know what the deal with Pugs and this boss is, but they are suck at it. People are so bad at dodging crap on this boss for some reason. You really just need to, like, have someone make, like, a game plan beforehand of, like, everyone stack on one spot and just kind of loop around, killing one of each ad at the same. But instead, you have so many times where, like, everyone just goes off into Africa, like, attacking their own ad, and then they just die from something because they get hit. It's like... Yeah, Pugs are awful with this boss. But in terms of the boss's design, it's a pretty simple, kill the ad, dodge some crap, to kill the ad, dodge some stuff. And, like, I'm trying not to take, like, Pug experience hugely into account. I think this boss is just fine. Pug experience, it's like D. But that's just me, with how it's been for me. But the boss itself, I think, is just B. This boss is just easy. He, like, doesn't do anything. You, like... It's kind of cool, I guess, how you, like, put the ice close to where you just had the ice, but then you just stand in a force field and wait for, like, 10 seconds till he just charges his thing. Doing nothing, it makes managing cooldowns kind of annoying. I don't like this boss, I'm just gonna put it in D. Umbral Skull. You literally just, like, dodge orbs while you're really slow, and then you, like, hit crystals when they spawn. And then it's like the crystals have some RNG about where they put. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're hard, which is kind of annoying. It feels like this boss should have just been something else, and he could have just been a lot cooler, and I don't really like him, so Umbral Skull's going to be in D tier. Okay, Nuke and Defensive. Again, I'm going to, like, try to find the... I'm just going, like, whoever's next is going to do that dungeon, but then we're going to, like, try to order them a little bit. Where's the ghost people? There they are. Okay, so... Granith... One of the easiest bosses in my experience. I don't think I've had a group wipe on this boss before. It's really, honestly, very easy. And, I mean, you do get to hear Let's Fly over and over. Yeah, you just kill the DPS, launch the Ballista. Simple, fine. It's like, okay, I put it in the C tier. Yeah, no problems with him. The Ranging Tempest. You run around getting orbs, and then there's a massive healer check where you use defensives. And that's basically it. I don't know. I think Raging Tempest is fine. This boss has caused many problems with the Pugs, once again. But, I don't know. There's just not a lot going on. It's like you dodge the occasional swirly, you collect some orbs, and you just keep collecting orbs and moving around. I just don't really care for this guy. I mean, He's a big win elemental dude, but he may be raging, but he's not as raging as I am when I get a I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, Ghost Boss. I like these person. I just like fights where we dodge bunch of crap. This was one of the more fun ones. Not really a lot aside from that. You just dodge some stuff. You can stack them when they shoot the tornadoes. It's all right, boss. Last boss. I hate how the intermission's like the only hard part of this fight. Really, like, hey, it's a boss where your entire like. What's the word I'm looking for? Whether you succeed or not pretty much entirely depends on, hey, can you coordinate the interrupts on the ads and kill the ad phase? And then it's pretty easy and then it's not that bad aside from that. Also, this guy's a sick mohawk, I just realized. This guy should be the final boss of the expansion. Like, I just don't like how the ad phase is like, you get to 60%, it's like, okay, now you're going to see if you actually win or not. That's my experience, at least, and I don't really like that. I like the parts that aren't with the ad, but I don't like when like a main mechanic of a boss or something is interrupts, because I've had to play with pugs so often, and coordinating that stuff with pugs is just a nightmare. Again, I know I said earlier I shouldn't raid too much with pugs, but it's kind of hard not to. I also just don't like interrupt heavy fights or mechanics, and that is definitely one. So yeah, pretty much every Nokunda boss is just like average, which C is just like, it's okay. B is like, I know I should have just done later. Good, great. I know those are both like very vague generic words, good and great, but whatever. S is amazing. D is bad. And actually, now that I see who's next, let's add a row below War Crime. And we'll make it purple, the same color as Bonemaw, who's going to go right in there. The worst boss of the first season of Mythic Plus for Dragonflight. This boss has so many problems. It had so many bonkers, just really bad interactions with certain affixes like quaking, where there's so little you can do to avoid just like dying to them, or just, well, not dying to them, but this boss does not interact well with so many affixes. The fact that the worms come up and they just kill them, and then it's just like, just move at weird spots. You have to put if there's, sometimes when you put the little sludge thing close and he swallows you when you're seemingly not close to him, and other times when you're not that close to him and he like swallows you anyway, and then sometimes where you're close to him but he doesn't swallow you. There's not a clear visual indicator of how that works. The way melee have to like find this perfect sweet spot to damage him, he's just boring. Yeah, Bonemaw's bad. He's just a bad boss. If you fought against Bonemaw, you know why. He has so much health. You almost want to fall asleep when you're fighting him. He's bad. He's bad, and he should feel bad. But now I just realized, okay, he's of course the third boss of Shanmu, though. First boss of Shanmu Burial Grounds. I kind of like this boss. It's very simple. You just kill an ad. Don't stand in shadow crap, and don't stand on the eclipse things when they show up. It's a pretty easy boss. Yeah, I think she's okay. She's fine. Don't really actively like her. This person is bad. It's literally a pushover most of the time. You just don't stand in shadow crap, and then you like kind of save some cooldowns or whatever, minor cooldowns, for when you have to get dragged into a different dimension and you have to kill your dude. I feel like unironically, like the pull into the shadow dimension of Harold Vaj and Ankahet, the Old Kingdom, was like better done. The fact that you fought all of them, you didn't like have to kill them. This guy he's not good. He's not hard. He's very easy as a fact, but not in a good way. Am I missing one? No, I'm not. Oh well, yeah, I'm missing Ner'zhul. I honestly kind of like Ner'zhul. My main problem, and it's a really big problem, is the whole is when he summons the skeletal wall. Also, I just realized. Hold on. Sorry, it's just need to make sure to close the doors, because just in case people hear me, it's a whole thing. Anyways. Yeah, when Ner'zhul summons the skeletal wall, the shadow crap that follows behind them very bad visual indicator where the damage. I've had times where me and other people, you can like try to move to like a backwards area, like near the shadow crap that goes behind the skeletal walls after they've passed by, and then you just die, and you're like, what killed me? And it's like, oh, I died from the shadow stuff, even though I was nowhere close to it. I was not close to it. It did not look like it was in it at all, but the hitbox just goes that far. So yeah, it's like once you know that's how it works. But whenever a boss has like a very bad visual indicator as to what's hitting you, like the Felguard boss, the one person core star summon that has like no visual indicator whatsoever, it's gonna cast like a shockwave in front of it and they just die and you're like, what killed me? Huh? Like, WoW has a serious problem with very bad visual indicators to some bosses. The Felguard's honestly like the worst offender I can think of, because the usual one's easy enough to avoid, but it's still like bad. But aside from that, like I do kind of like Ner'zhul. It is kind of fun to kill the skeleton like really quickly, but then you're just like baiting like where Shadowsting spawn. I think he's okay. He's okay at best. Like we'll put it next to this Blood Fury lady. And yeah, that's about right for Shadow Moon, where the best bosses are like okay tier. Croc or whatever his name is. It's a big crow. I like dodging the swirlies. I like throwing the ball in the hoop. It's pretty fun having to go against the wind while dodging the swirlies. I'm pretty sure popular opinions this boss is not well liked. I actually like Roth. I'll put it in good, maybe great later, but it's the boss I think I like the most in Algathar. The tree boss. The infamous tree boss that has wiped many pugs. Is okay. Or is he good? He's okay. It is pretty... Once you get the dance down and the boss was actually tuned correctly, it was pretty fun to just let her rip with massive AoE cooldowns on all the ads, knowing when to use the cooldowns, knowing when to use defensives, going in the little circle dance around when he's spawning them. This boss actually is pretty fun once, you know, you get the dance down, and again, it wasn't like overtuned, because I think they had to nerf it. I think they nerfed it like several times before like the average group could deal with it. So this guy, I don't know his name, out there, Miss Wuma. Yeah, he's okay. You dodge swirlies, you hit an orb, you dodge some stuff. I think he's good. I like him well enough. Again, I like dodging stuff and like absorbing the occasional orb, but not when the entire boss is absorbing orbs. There you go. It's my absorbing orbs. And Echo of Dorgasa. What is this boss? Why is this the easiest boss? Like one of the easiest bosses out of every dungeon when it's the last boss. It has like a very bad frontal cone indicator. It doesn't even... And aside from that, you just like dodge orbs. I mean, I do like dodging orbs, but like... I kind of get what they were going for, but it definitely should have just been like... themed in a different way or something, like the way the orbs spawned. It's just not the right. This boss should just be like a little harder or something. I think it's okay. I wouldn't say it's bad, but like it definitely is like a boss that's like, what? Why is this okay? Now we go on to Halls of Valor, the dungeon I've probably done the most, because I was trying to farm for the trinkets for a while, and then I just wound up getting them for my vault, because I didn't realize at the time, it's like, oh, the Mythic Plus loot system is actually horrendous, and it's still one of the biggest problems I have with retail, is the loot system is hot garbage, in my opinion. But anyways, it's besides the point. We're talking about the dungeons qualities themselves, not the loot system surrounding them. Let's do the first boss. This guy... I like him well enough. I actually like him a lot. I'm actually putting him as great because I like, again, whenever there's a boss that's a creative way of dodging things like the tornadoes from Dathia, it's not just here's a swirly, dodge the swirly. No, this time you see dragons off in the distance. You have to like look in a direction to visually see the dragon. And then, like, okay, it's going down this way, I'm going to go over there. You know, it's kind of like Razageth. It's like, okay, Razageth is in that area, so it looks like it's going that center, I'm going to go over here. That's like the best way to make, like, dodge X type mechanics. Because it's just a lot better. It feels a lot more fluid and less artificial. I don't know. It's probably a weird way to describe it, but you know what I mean. I prefer it when they have, like, more visual ways to know how to dodge something. I heard, like, I don't know if this is true, but I know like Final Fantasy does that a lot more, which obviously there are some days where I'm like, maybe I should have just gone to Final Fantasy, but at this point it's like too late and I don't feel like learning another or getting to another MMO and stuff. But anyways, yeah, I like that. I mean, that's most of the boss, and then like dodging you dodge like the tornadoes and the axes. You dodge stuff, and it's not just swirlies. I like it, and he's a cool dude. I appreciate him. Hirdra or whatever. Kind of just dodge the orbs a lot. It's mostly just like a hero check on like the storm phase and knowing when to use defensives on that part, because it's really easy to dodge the orbs if you're just not greedy. But it's fun enough. I'll put her in B tier. Fenrir, the boss that pugs never know that you're supposed to stack for the bite. And on higher keys, sometimes that kills people, because for some reason on like it's plus 18, people still don't know to do that. And aside from that, it's just like knowing where to run when he chases after you. And then I do like the kind of dynamic of, okay, spread when he does the jump and then stack up again. I like, how it forces you to switch between the two. So I think Fenrir is a good boss. I like the kind of back and forth he makes you do. And Odin. Oh wait, nope, I forgot. Halls of Valor, lots of bosses. Skovald, the man who loves his rant. He's okay. It feels like this boss is like should have been more. He's so easy. It's literally just does the tank get the Aegis off? He did. Okay, fantastic. You win. Because aside from that, like the fire elementals don't do jack. You just like kind of blow them up and don't stand in the fire. I think I have to put this guy in bad. Like it feels like he's missing a mechanic, dude. Like why? Like he's so easy and just doesn't do anything. I guess it's because he's kind of like in the same room as Odin, but yeah, I do appreciate him though, and I for one appreciate his rants about the Aegis will be his and whatnot. I can respect him. Odin. I actually like Odin quite a bit. Again, visual indicators. You see a rune above your head, go to the rune to get the bonus and not die. Sure, there's some RNG with that because like there's sometimes when like you're in a spot and it's like I've had some times where, hey, I get the rune and I'm literally like right next to the rune already, and I have sometimes where it's like, oh, the rune I'm at isn't the one I got. I actually got the one that's the farthest across. But that isn't too bad because then it's like, okay, just use like a health pot or something, and then yeah, again, it's a cool visual indicator, similar to this boss, and I like that stuff. The whole like having to run out while the ad spawns, that part's kind of weird. And then like I do like dodging the orbs and the sword blowing up. It's one of the few cases where it's not interrupt heavy fight, but I do like how there's just a tiny bit of interrupt where it's like, okay, you have this one ad, just make sure it doesn't get that cast off in time. I actually like Odin. I like Odin. He's a fun boss and he looks badass. So yeah. Halls of Valor, 2 great bosses. I'm actually gonna put this guy in amazing. Even though he's just the first boss, and he doesn't really, even though he's just a first boss with relatively simple camps, I just like how it's executed a lot and I don't have any problems with it. So he can go up in amazing. A first boss doesn't need to be super complex to be very good. Okay, let's do Court of Stars. What in the... Okay, we have Demon Lady. Oh yeah, I forgot this place only has like 3 bosses, that's right. Okay. I don't know the difference between the two. Okay, Patrol, I see Patrol Captain. Okay, Patrol Captain. I like, this boss is fine. I do like having, it's like, okay, jump to get rid of the thing and then dodge the big line attack. Pretty simple, but pretty fun to execute. I'm okay with it, even as a Warlock where it's annoying to have to interrupt my cast and stuff. And I don't know if you count the whole, like, pillar part beforehand. I don't know if you count that part as part of the boss, but, yeah, it's okay. He's fine. This lady. Something Fire Breath. Boss is really quite good. It's a very simple back and forth. I don't know if you count the demons, because if you count the Felguard, it like goes down a tier. Because again, it's like, come on, you couldn't give it like any kind of animation for the shockwave, like something. But I'm just counting the boss itself. And I do kind of, even though it's a very simple like stack up, And I normally don't like stack up mechanics, but then go out when the fire spawns, use a bunch of AoE to kill the imps, go back in, and then like interrupt the things. It's a really simple back and forth, but it's just kind of satisfying to execute. Definitely feels like it'd be more as like a mid. I guess it technically is a middle of the dungeon boss, but like well enough. He could be top of good, but once you learn how the dance works, like bosses that have like satisfying to execute like dances, like Mythic Taros, those are often very satisfying. So yeah. And then the final boss, you learn where the holograms or whatever they are. You dodge them. It's like, okay, this one's going that way. This one's going that way. I like how over time it gets a little bit more and more hectic. It's mostly just a matter of finding like a safe spot, and then you're usually good. But I do still think it's a good boss, great boss. Yeah, I think it's a great boss. I think it's fun. I think it's pretty easy. Once you get the visual cues down, but you're not just dodging swirlies, and I appreciate that. All right, Ruby life pools. I guess we'll do. Yeah, we'll do Miss last for some reason. I don't know. First boss. I think this boss is amazing, straight up. I really like the whole similar to this boss in a way. Well, not really, but in terms of how ads work, it's like, hey, you have all these ice things. You don't want to be in line of sight of them, so you have to like weave between the little ice clusters so you don't get pulled into them or something like that. And then she makes all the dragon spawn. It's like, oh boy, big AoE deeps. That's my demonology implosions. Hoorah! Please buff implosion by 100% because it's like the most satisfying move ever when you get a big one off at the right time. Yeah, praise Demo Warlock. Why are they nerfing it? It's like a B tier spec. From what I understand. Anyways, well, I need to not go on Warlock or Rants. Now my nose is itching for some reason. Apologies. But yeah, simple like back and forth, kind of like this boss. It's kind of like a dance, you know. The ice clusters spawn. You have the big AoE thing. Someone gets where they have to run out. Other people run away while also dodging the ice stuff. Whelps spawn, kill all the whelps, and then it's like rinse, repeat. Really just a satisfying dance to execute, and I'm a big fan. I don't know the boss's name at all, but that's good. Why is my nose itching so much? Jeez. This person, I do like how you're always like moving the boss around the arena as lava spreads more and more. And then aside from that, it's just like dodge the boulder, don't get separated from other people on a separate island while you have thundering, like I did one time. Oops. And yeah, I think it's a great boss. I think it's a great boss, legitimately. And Korkia. So this boss can be kind of think of this boss similar to Croth in a way, where you know you're dodging a bunch of stuff while you're getting like thrown by wind. And I actually kind of like that. I think that's kind of funnish. The main problem with this boss is you have really weird like transition cheeses you can do. Like, okay, it's at 51%, do damage stops. Once the big dragon like lands and does the big breath attack, now make it phase that way. You know, you have to wait till it stops the breath, and then she's gonna phase into the next when it's like 45. Like, but you're never gonna have like pugs or anything do that specific stuff. I think generally speaking, I'm gonna be honest. I think this boss is great. Pretty hard and not good, and pretty hard and not good with pugs, but and I kind of enjoy that it's like semi-chaotic nature. I can't believe it. I'm actually putting all the Ruby life pools bosses in A+ tier. A lot of people don't like Ruby life pools, and aside from like the trash packs around the ring, which admittedly that's like 50% of Ruby life pools, I guess, to be fair. But in terms of the bosses specifically, I actually kind of like Ruby life pools. I think this person's gonna go in the bottom. Yeah, those two are fine there. Yeah, that looks good to me. I actually kind of like all the Ruby life pools bosses, surprisingly. Like I've never, a lot of people have said like, oh, I'm so glad Ruby life pools is going away, and I'm just like, I've never really understood why people hate it so much. I know there are some problems like tree problems with it, and but it's easy to butt pull in that dungeon. But overall, like I'm kind of okay with it, and it's like relatively short, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, final dungeon. We saved arbitrarily for last Temple of the Jade Serpent. Wise Mari. So if I understand, this is like the only boss or one of the bosses they like straight up changed like a lot for. They changed an old boss and made like new mechanics and stuff for him. Look, This boss is a nightmare for pugs, similar to like some other bosses we've discussed. I think mechanically, I just love the dance for Wise Mari. It helps them a Warlock, and it's so satisfying when he shoots the big geyser beam, and I can just teleport to the other side of it, and I'm just like, hey, and then I keep casting while everyone else is frantically jumping around. You can make an argument that's like, kind of, needing, or how a lot of people think you need an add-on for like the water going upward, but really just it's like, okay, just on the third one it goes off. I think it's 3 anyway, but. And then, you get the water thing to go out and then go back in. I just like the dance. I think it's fun. Yeah, he does have, like, lances you have to interrupt, but I'm a Warlock. I have, like, 1 30-second add-on that everyone else can handle it. So, yeah, I just love the dance for Wise Mari once you get it down. I'm going to be honest. I was pretty bad at at first. It is not... Definitely one of the harder, like, first bosses. I would say, like, you compare it to, like, this guy, for example. It's, like, night and day. But even though a lot of people are very bad at Wise Mari... I think it's fun. Also, what is this background music we've had? We've had, like, Eastern Plaguelands. Like, I don't even know how well you can hear it. But it's just been, like, we've been, like, Silphus this whole time. Now we're still in, like, ominous music. Just get me, like, something more nice. Okay, there we go. Again, you can barely hear it because it's, like, faint background music, but still. Okay, this guy. I think this guy is bad. If it doesn't even feel like a boss... You literally just switch targets every time, like, the 2 dudes reach 7 stacks. That's it. It doesn't feel like a boss. Like, it feels like Wise Mari, like, where this boss should have, like, 2 more mechanics. Like, even just generic swirlies to dodge or something, or, like, a mechanic where one person has to run to the boss. I don't know. This boss should have something. It doesn't feel like a boss. It feels like a glorified, like, mini ad fight boss. This guy's bad. He's bad. This boss, you dodge some flames. The last phase of this boss is a joke for some reason, whereas the starting phase isn't. From what I understand, this boss is pretty much entirely reliant on the tank doing certain things. I think this boss is kind of bad. And it's pretty boring from my Warlock point of view. It's like, oh, I just dodge the occasional telegraph flames that don't have nearly as good visual indicators as they should. They should be bigger and more obvious, but yeah, it's just kind of boring. Shaw of Anger. I think this boss could have been great if they just didn't have the whole decurse shenanigans. They should just have, like, 1 dot, or just make it not hit his heart and just make it not decursorable. Especially because it's like, I prefer to play, like, Demo whenever I can, and it's like, oh, well, we are Warlock. We want you to get your imp out for the decurse. It's like, but then I'm Demo. I need to use my Felguard, so I would need to play Destro or Affliction. I don't want to do that. Yeah, but aside from that, it's like, yeah, I just don't really like this boss. Like, the whole transition of, like, okay, all the ads spawn stack up and try to burn them down, while also, like, there's just so much AoE shenanigans. I know that's the first thing for a lot of bosses, but the fact that you have to, like, stack for this one, you can't really tell, like, when something's, like, it's hard to tell when stuff is CC'd properly. Again, like I said, the fights, they just shouldn't be, or the curses shouldn't, like, be dispellable. There's a world where this boss has changed, like, not too much, and goes from bad to great, but I really don't care for Shaw of Anger. I wouldn't say Shaw of Anger's bad, I guess. I'll put it, like, bottom of okay tier. Definitely not a war crime. That's reserved for Bonemaw. And that's it. Is there anyone I would change? Is there anyone else I would put in Amazing? Like, bosses I always really look forward to. I just realized all the bosses I put in Amazing are first bosses. That wasn't intentional. I don't think I would put Odin in Amazing. He's close, though. Odin's close. So put this boss in here, you have, like, all enough 4th boss. Yeah, I think these are all great, but I don't know. They're all, like, missing something or have some small issue I have with them. Where, I think if Odin's fight, like, lasted a little longer and maybe was changed a little bit, he would be amazing. He's really close. Let's see. Croth. Oh, Portal Captain. This guy should not be, I don't know, whatever. It's fine. I don't know, whatever. I can nitpick, like, I can change, like, a couple of these into great. I was more thinking if there's any of the great bosses I would maybe put in Amazing. But I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, whatever. This is good enough for now. Jesus, this has been going on for 30 minutes. Dude, tier maker, like, makes time go by quick. Like, ranking things, it's every time I do, like, tier ranking things. It's like, okay, it's been, like, what, 10 minutes? 30? 30? It's crazy, man. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. That's been my ranking. Adios. I just realized my audio's like... It's not like been like... It's probably been like way too quiet the whole time. It's fine. It's fine. You'll be fine. Go rank your own bosses at this point. It's fine. Have a good one.